Hello, I'm No More Worlds. Good day, salutations. This is Colony Ship, a post-Earth role-playing game by developers and publishers Iron Tower Studios, and they made the Age of Decadence, which I played a while ago. Not streaming or recording, I just played it. Didn't get terribly far. It's incredibly difficult game. I'm not gonna say I'm great or good, even adequate. Most people would agree, but it was interesting and it's deeply hardcore. And this game looks even better from everything I've seen of it, trailers and gameplay footage, and other Let's Plays. It looks really good. It's that Fallout isometric style, real in depth tactical combat, but also a lot of ways around combat. And from what I've heard and what I've paid attention to, choices actually matter, not just, character creation and skills, but picking up on dialogue. There's some realism to it, just like there was in Age of Decadence. So I'm pretty excited. I want to give it a try. I'm over here floating in space right now in eager anticipation. So let's jump right in and start a new game. I moved myself over here to try to minimize the amount of stuff I'm covering up. But you're gonna see my little avatar. It's gonna happen. I've worked too hard on it. So new game. Now here we can choose my preferred style. And from what I've read, they added the hero difficulty setting, which is a little more forgiving, but it's still supposed to be a pretty hard game no matter what. Just because the default difficulty of underdog is kind of punishing. And as a fool and a wastrel, I'm going to go with hero, probably. So with hero, player character's party gains 100% skill gain, accuracy plus 25, minimum accuracy increased to 20, enemies' accuracy is reduced, death timer is 5 turns instead of 2, and better starting gear. With underdog, everyone plays by the same rules, but I don't like that. I don't want to be an underdog. That's too much of real life. So we're going to go with hero, just to go in. I'm sure I'm going to, cock everything up as we go along and just look like a real chud, but let's jump into hero. I want to create a new character. I think they have some pre-existing ones, but I want to create a new one. Female character. Oh, these are some nice designs. Fun tattoos, a lot of cyberpunks. I should mention Colony Ship is like an isometric RPG in space, right? It's on a colony ship. So who are we going to pick? I really do hope we can match our character's little avatar portrait with the avatar itself, so good choices. I like this to a degree. I'm not a huge fan of the heterochromatic eyes. A little too David Bowie for me. I like David Bowie, but not, necessarily in my games. This is... What was that game? That was like Norse mythology mixed with future spacecraft. Because that's what the... Too Human? That's what that reminds me of. But I don't mind this. Tattoos, a little implant up here, side cut. I think we can go with that. Let's try to match this as best we can. So I think that's skin tone, roughly. We zoom in. I don't think there are many face choices in the game yet. I should mention this game is still in early access. So it seems like one face. That's fine. Hair, we'll try to see if we can get that side cut. I found the side cut is on the opposite side. Hair color, I think we can match that. We can't match that. That's infuriating. It's fine. We'll go with something a little bit normal, I think. Just this up here. Just, no frill, simple hair color. Goggles, we can do that. So, probably that skin tone. Face doesn't matter. Hair, we'll go with the... None of those particularly match either, but this one's close-ish. Decor. I have no idea what that means. Oh, lip color. I'm saying a lot of things you can't see behind my back. It's not going to matter too much. She has kind of a purple lip color, so we'll get something a little bright. Hair color stays the same. Tattoos. You can get the tattoos pretty well. Actually, we'll go with the 2 human look. Face doesn't matter. We can be bald though, so that's good. We'll go with the tattoos. Perfect. Scars. It doesn't look like she has any, but we'll add some scars, I think. No, we won't. And gloves. I should zoom out to see that. We don't need gloves. Alright, so how are we going to make this character? I'm not familiar with this game at all in terms of having played it. I don't know character builds. I know the devs are very active on Steam forums, and they've, asked people to post their characters and, post what people have been using, so I probably should have checked any of that out, but I didn't. But let's look at, like, combat. We have melee, blade and blunted weapons. We have pistol, shotguns, rifles, SMGs. We have critical strike, evasion, and armor. We have biotech, computers, and electronics. That's not bad. Lockpick, steal, stealth. All kinds of speech options, persuasion, streetwise, and impersonate. And then biotech, which is, I guess, implant-based computers and electronics. Pre-made would have been a smart idea, especially when I know so little of the combat, but I don't think that's too bad. Why don't we go... Let's up our intelligence to a 9. That will help our skills overall. What is perception control? Accuracy with all weapons and affects interactions requiring sharp senses. Let's boost that to like a 7. Dexterity is action points and interactions requiring speed, so 6 maybe. Constitution, I think we're going to need a little bit of that. Strength, I think, is melee. Can't lower strength any, less than 4, so that's fine. Charisma. Do I want more charisma? And if I increase this above 9, does it start deducting points at exponential amounts? Doesn't really, but let's get intelligence up to 10. I wouldn't mind... Oh, here we go. So 10 is exceptional. 9 is excellent. Because I wouldn't mind doing some hacking. Some biotech. I actually like the idea of taking care of heals for a party as a main character. It's not too bad. Let's get our perception up a little higher. And why don't we put 2 more into dexterity so we can have a bit more action points per round. And let's bump up charisma to 5, because charisma determines the number of party members. And it also affects personal interactions, so that's good. So, just from doing all that, our evasion's at a 16. I don't know what that means in the overall point of the game. How many action points? I have 16 to start. My initiative's pretty high, I'd say, at 32. Reactions at 24%. Accuracy is 66. That's not too bad. Tagged skills. It's a feature of intelligence and charisma. Experience points at 30% bonus. Neural resistance, ability to reduce psionic damage and chance of negative psionic effects. Determined by charisma, cybernetic implants, and protective gear. Oh, so charisma also affects... So there are psionics in this game. I kind of want to use psionics. Should I... Why don't we remove a little bit of dex? Why don't we remove a little bit of constitution too? Let's play dangerously. Let's bump up charisma considerably. So we're good. Over here, I noticed that if you max a skill out to 10, you get one of these special feats. And I guess there are other feats as well. Stim duration, Lone Wolf, which It's like Lone Wanderer and Fallout. If you don't have a party with you, you get considerably more. Are there any psionics at the beginning? Max implants +1 for bionics. Required constitution is less than 10. Educated. 1 extra tag skill. Master Trader. Skill Monkey. These are all melee skills. Big Game Hunt. There's a ton of feats here. This is insane. These are all stealth. Interesting. Alright, we'll go with this. Intelligence and Charisma. I think this will help us avoid combat. And as a coward, I can only support that. Now, I think we should definitely take... Let's see, there isn't always time to track down a doctor to extract an implant from a newly minted corpse. Learn the basics and improve your chances of survival. Yeah, we'll tag this. I'm going to tag biotech. Do I want to do hacking? Probably. I wouldn't mind tagging some evasion. Why don't we tag... We should definitely tag 1 combat skill. I think just pistol. SMG wouldn't be bad. Yes, but it goes through ammo, and I assume ammo is going to be pretty scarce in this game. So why don't we tag pistol? And 1 more. Persuasion. And then we have 4 points to play around with. Get biotech up. Why don't we get computers up, maybe? And evasion, because we don't really have much in the way of survivability. Let's get persuasion up, too. Alright, so we're not really a combat character. We don't need to be, though. Support is necessary, so we have 1 feat we can play around with. Increased implants, that wouldn't be too bad. I don't know what the implants do, though. Increased evasion with lower health, that's not bad. Max followers, don't really need that. Each skill level, critical chance +1. Charger. Extra feat every 3 levels, starting at level 3. Plus 50% tag skill earning rate. Okay. I don't mind that, you know, I don't really mind Mastermind. Let's take that. There we go. So we're gonna skill out pretty quickly, which might help us out. Our name is Tara. We'll just keep that as is. I think there's a random button up here if you want to just type your own name. And let's jump in. I think we got everything we need. It is the year of our Lord 2754. You will never feel the sun's warmth under a blue sky, never hear the wind in the branches of a tree, and never swim in the ocean because you had the misfortune of being born on the ship. You've never seen Earth, and you'll never see Proxima Centauri either. Your past and future both sacrificed by some dim and nameless ancestor to the greater good of the mission. Starfarer. Should we Starfarer? Starfarer, they called her, a pretty name for a retrofitted interplanetary freighter. She had already been 20 years in service when she was rechristened, and showing every minute of it. No one is captain of the ship. No one is certain. Ugh. I'm blocking the text too, so all you get is my words. No one is certain the ship will actually reach its destination, and nobody much cares, since no one alive now will live to see it. Fatalism is the prevailing philosophy of the shipborne. Make the best life you can, and consign all your what-ifs and might-have-beens to the void. We can answer a few questions to define our character's beliefs and opinions while learning more about the ship, or skip it. Let's go through this little checklist here. The ship was launched by a neo-Christian conglomerate dedicated to establishing a religious colony on a distant world. The original 50,000 passengers, the so-called First Generation, were true believers in the mission. They sacrificed whatever lives they had on Earth and demanded strict obedience to the laws of God and the ship from their children. Unfortunately, the generations that follow lacked their forebearers' fervent will to sacrifice. Dissatisfaction led to open revolt against authorities, called the Mutiny, and the Mutiny metastasized It, I wish I didn't say that so poorly. Into a civil war. While the mutineers dealt a decisive blow to the old order, they did not eradicate it completely. When the fires died and the smoke finally dissipated, three factions emerged from the wreckage of the old order: the Protectors of the Mission, the Brotherhood of Liberty, and the Church of the Elect, each of them promising their own version of the future. You've always thought that rebelling against the ship authority was a mistake, the environment itself is hostile enough to human life, and the order is always preferable to chaos. The mutineers did the right thing. Why should the shipborne blindly bow to edicts of their centuries-dead ancestors? Though they would deny it, the mutineers were fulfilling God's will when they toppled the old order. All shipborne bend to God's will, just as all events proceed according to his plan. Who cares? You've got enough problems right now without fighting over history with a bunch of fanatics. Well, we're gonna go little anarchist, I think. Who gives a crap about what our ancestors thought? In fact, you would go on to say that life is change and to stagnate is to die. The systems by which the shipborne are governed must evolve. Tyrants have always justified their decision with noble motives, but all they care about is power. That power rightfully belongs to the people. Death to tyrants. Violence is never the best solution, but it's sometimes the only solution. Yeah, we'll go number 3 here. I think we'll be pretty big on independence, anarchy, but not willing to do violence all the time, especially if we're going to go with a support style character. So violence is never always, it's never the best solution, but sometimes the only solution. The ship suffered extensive damage during the Civil War, but remains operational. The hull was breached in several places, and frantic efforts to avoid a meltdown crippled the main reactor. Radiation increased in places to lethal levels, and several areas remain dangerous to this day. When a small percentage of children in the habitat were first born deformed, they were branded mutants and immediately shunned. The young were abandoned, and those whose defects didn't manifest until later were driven out. With the condition of the fusion reactor degrading to the dangerous levels and the number of volunteers for jobs in areas exposed to radiation remaining few, the mutants negotiate a pact with the habitat, granting them protection from harassment and violence in exchange for their maintenance of the engines and other vital ship systems. You've always thought that the mutants are an abomination in the sight of God. Okay, we're not picking that one. We should have eliminated their twisted kind when we had the chance. The mutants proved themselves useful by taking care of the reactor. Who's better to be exposed to radiation than those already affected by it? We're all God's children, even those with webbed fingers and deformed faces. Are you so beautiful that you can shun them? In saving the ship, they saved the world as we know it. The debt can never be repaid. If anything, we need to embrace the possibility of mutations as critical to survival in a strange new world. Or ostracizing fellow humans based on genetic differences is wrong. Hopefully our descendants will live in harmony in the future colony. Okay, we're going with 5. Because that's correct. It's absolutely wrong. Although I also agree with 4 that, mutations in space might prove useful, but 5 is much more moral. The place you call home is known as the Pit, and to some more affectionately as the Free City. Calling the tower of containers rising from the depths of a cargo hold a city is a bit of a stretch, and so is the other half of it. With no kind of law or government, freedom mostly means you're free to kill or be killed. On the plus side, housing is cheap and keeping overhead low is a priority when you have nothing. The real city, a metropolis sprawling across many decks, is called the Habitat. It offers much better living conditions for those who can afford it, but to live there you have to pick a side among the factions vying for control. Nobody in the pit gives a damn about their struggles, but like Earth before it, nothing in the world is free. Just keep in mind you might get more than you sign up for. As far as you're concerned, true freedom means being free from laws passed down by your supposed betters. Some kind of rules are necessary, or else we'll descend into anarchy. If freedom means living in an interplanetary shipping container and sleeping with a gun under your pillow, these pit dwellers can keep it. Or personal freedom is a luxury the shipborne cannot afford. To serve the state is to serve your brother, to serve your sister, and to serve yourself. Why can't people understand that? Okay, we're going with 1. Yeah, anarchy, power to the people. The ship is en route to Proxima B, an Earth-like planet orbiting Proxima Centauri. After launch, a deep space probe transmitted highly detailed images of the surface, which revealed one major setback. This very habitable world is already inhabited. Since the voyage is estimated to take close to 400 years, it's possible that by the time the ship arrives, the colonists will encounter a mature civilization corresponding to Earth's late Middle Ages. If that's the case, what setback? Those unanticipated Though unanticipated, slaves will provide an excellent resource for the colony. I don't like that. Number 2, we'll make every effort within reason to accommodate the savages, setting aside clearly demarcated zones for them to pursue their own lives. Again, I don't like that. 3, we must take every effort to live in harmony with the New World's native sons and daughters and learn all we can from them. That's a little better. And 4, we will be guests in this new world, living among the local population, accepting their culture and tradition as our own. I'm closer to 4. I'm between 3 and 4. Probably that really depends on their customs. Some customs and traditions I'm not a huge fan of. Do we know what they are? Let's go with 3. As inevitably happens in dark and challenging times, some people turn to God for reassurance, the promise of an end to the pain and hunger, or, failing an end, at least a purpose. The Church of the Elect rejected both the protectors of the mission and the Brotherhood of Liberty as worldly fools, distracted by politics and their own egos. Teaching their adherents that they were chosen by God, the Church frames their journey of the ship as a centuries-long test of faith. We all face a series of difficult trials, yes, but with a very definite end. When the ship arrives at her destination, Judgment Day awaits every citizen. The righteous will be welcomed to the promised land of Proxima B, while the unrepentant will be returned to the hell from which we fled, Earth, to suffer for all eternity. The way you see it, religion is the opium of the people, which is a Marx quote, pretty classic, and I think it's usually a little misused, right? Because part of it being the opium of the people is something that people need and makes them. It's not necessarily all a bad thing. It is. Well, religion is the opium of the people, number 1. Number 2, it doesn't matter if God exists. People need to believe in something bigger than themselves. That's true, you don't want to give in to fatalism and nihilism, but 3, faith has always been mankind's greatest strength and defining trait. We must preserve it at all costs. I think that's the plot to Battlestar Galactica. And 4, honor he who was reborn, and you too shall be reborn into the new world that awaits thee. Well, quote Marx. Number 1. Oh, there's a lot of questions. The Protector's one truth is the mission, and the sole way to ensure successful completion of the mission is to follow the old ways. The ways of the fathers, forefathers, and founding fathers are together to beam upon which the ship travels to our ultimate destination. The mutiny, which through their steadfast and timely intervention was thankfully aborted, was the ultimate betrayal of the old ways, and of everyone who had come before, the nullification of every sacrifice and every life dedicated to the mission. Sworn to regain control of the ship, the Protectors will subjugate anyone who threatens the mission. For the last century, they have managed to expand their enclave somewhat, but the Brotherhood is deeply entrenched. To overcome them with violence would result in mass loss of life, an unfortunate consequence, which itself would endanger the mission. Number 1, instead of embracing the future, the Protectors are clinging to the long-gone past. They're a problem, not the solution. 2, the Protectors should be more flexible if they want to attract more people to their cause. 3, the Protectors are right about one thing, the mission is more important than our petty struggles. Or 4, born and raised on old Earth, the Founding Fathers were wiser than any shipborn, so how can we question the path? We're going with 1. The Brotherhood was formed to liberate the people from the shackles of the ship authority. Their first sally, which the fossils of the old world called mutiny, did not completely achieve the same. However, the Brotherhood was successful in establishing themselves as a significant power in the new order. Unfortunately, the Brotherhood's subsequent attempts to complete their emancipation of the enslaved, wherever they may be, ran into an unexpected obstacle. Not only did the people refuse to cooperate in this noble mission, they often violently resisted, and sometimes even chose their protectors or the church over their own best interests. The war goes on, but will be fought on different battlefields with different tactics. A non-military campaign to win over the people through reason and deceit, weakening the enemy from within, is the central pillar of the new strategy. It's a good strategy, to be honest. Number 1, to survive, we must evolve, and the Brotherhood is merely an agent of change that drives this evolution. Number 2, he who fights monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. Wow, that's... where have I heard that before? Number 3, the Brotherhood did not end the tyranny of the ship authority, Brotherhood did end the tyranny of the ship authority, giving us the choice on how to live our lives. They shouldn't try to take this choice away now, which I agree with when a power structure comes about from the destruction of an old power structure. Number 4, the best slave is the one who thinks he's free. They will thank the Brotherhood later for liberating them. I'm going to go with number 3. It's really up to an individual's freedom from any authority. You don't... I guess he who fights monsters should look to himself that he does not become a monster. That also works. We're going to quote Nietzsche. Alright, your beliefs and opinion may change and evolve over the course of the game as you interact with factions, groups, and various individuals. Keep in mind that actions speak louder than words, and that saying one thing and doing another won't fool people for long. Okay, begin our adventure. Okay, you can just press 1. The Pit. Ever since you were a kid, this has been your home. A sprawling heap of vacant cargo containers and slowly... Ugh. A sprawling heap of vacant cargo containers... The Pit. Ever since you were a kid, this has been your home. A sprawling heap of vacant cargo containers, slowly getting filled up with those who couldn't afford to stay in the habitat or needed to get away from its bosses and factions. Out here, folks have lived free and died fast, with those who survive earning their keep by either diving into the wreckage of Mission Control and bringing back valuable relics of the past, or figuring out a way to make money off the fools who do the diving. From the day it sprang up like a patch of mold on the rich substrate, the Pit has been overshadowed by Jonas Redford, the canny, cagey son of a bitch, who planted its first spike. The de facto mayor of a town with no government, Jonas holds court in the Promised Land, the Pit's only brothel on the base of operations for his network of thugs and whores. But as the Pit has grown, Jonas's seat at the top has gotten shakier. When the Brotherhood of Freedom threatened to annex the town, concerted citizens banded together and hired the regulators, a mercenary gang led by Jeremiah Braxton, to keep the Brotherhood out. But now as Braxton's gunmen swagger under the neon lights, some folks have started wondering whether it's time for the Pit to get a little law and order, and whether Braxton might be the right man to wear a sheriff's star. You open your eyes to a gray hall metal ceiling, one panel of which flickers yellow, indicating day shift. You overslept. Not that it matters. With a grunt, you roll off your stained mattress and open the window to let in some fresh air. Like everything else around you, fresh is relative. The ship does its best to recycle air and water, but cargo holds aren't high on her priority list. You breathe in metal and burning oil and look up. 4 of the bridge's 6 projectors are still operational, shining dully down on the container towers of the cargo hold 3, better known as the Pit. The Free City. Calling the Pit a city is a bit of a stretch, but so is calling the reddish-brown liquid water. You've read that water's supposed to be clear and cities are supposed to be big, but no ship born has ever seen either. Maybe in another 100 years, water will look and taste like oil, and people will be talking about the good old days when it was the color of rust, and tasted refreshingly bitter and tangy. That's the kind of optimism that keeps you going. The elevator crawls up to a groove in the cargo hold's wall like a black steel bug that's worn a path traveling to the bridge and back. It's time to get up there and earn a few credits, but first you need a drink. For the last few years, you've been doing odd jobs for Tanner, a local hustler with a nose for making money. He's never tried to screw you over, which was pretty close to virtuous in this town. Still, there's a first time for everything. Whiskey Jack is added to the map. Meet Tanner at a nearby bar called Whiskey Jack. All right. Don't forget your gun. You never know when it might come in handy. So we can get a revolver, a carbine rifle, a shotgun, or a machine gun. We're going to get the revolver just because it's going pistols. And a backup weapon, perhaps, if you run out of bullets. Or take a dagger. And a defensive gadget. To keep you from harm, you should upgrade it the first chance you get. An energy shield to reduce incoming damage. A distortion field generator to make you harder to hit. Since I have high evasion, we'll get the distortion field. Alright, there we go. What is... So this is the game proper, huh? You can zoom right in. Nice 3D looking graphics. You can move around the map by holding down the middle mouse button. WASD as well. Can I rotate? I don't know if we can rotate. Hopefully it will say something. Over here, I think I have storage. Let's go ahead and take everything we have in storage. Hold down Alt to see everything we can interact with. No? Alright. Let's go to inventory. So we have boots. Tutorial. This is your inventory screen. Double-click on an item to equip it. Right-click on a weapon to reload or unload it. It's going to be important. In the old Fallout games, you had to reload after every battle. So remember to do that. You can open your gadgets to upgrade them by clicking on the gear symbol down here. Some armor comes with penalties to evasion and initiative. The penalties add up and can slow you down, but armor handling will reduce the penalties for each piece of armor by the listed amount. All right. I'll get rid of that for now. So why don't we get the jacket on? Doesn't seem to do anything to us when it comes to... It's a very chunky jacket. This doesn't seem to ruin our evasion. This does. And it looks kind of dorky, so we're not going to use that. Let's see. So, there's our dagger. There's our gun. We got a vest. Regen stimulant. What do we need to upgrade this gadget? Okay, so it upgrades down paths. No, it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. We can figure out upgrading later. So, I think that's everything we can do here. Let's just, let's leave the room. I think our door is here. We don't have... Yeah, let's close our door. Can't really walk off the edge. So, this is the game proper. It looks pretty nice. Let's talk to Xavier. Another day, huh, Terra? Says Xavier, raising a cup of the black blend of chemicals that has passed for coffee aboard the ship for a generation. Looks like it. Any big plans? We're gonna be friendly. I got a job on a driving crew, says Xavier, taking another sip. They lost 2 men last week, so they hired me on the spot. Must be my lucky day. Diving? We know what diving is. I don't really want to leave, though, so we'll talk to him. As in a diving mission to the Mission Control Ruins. It's like a maze down there. Sealed doors, corridors, entire decks. They cut power to kill the auto defenses, which didn't make things easier, and now there's a demand for divers who can open doors the old-fashioned way. Sounds useful. Can you show me the basics? Sure, if you pay me for my time. How about 200 credits per lesson? Trust me, you'll make your money back in no time. Fine, let's do it. Select a person to receive training by maybe later. This is party-based RPG, so we don't necessarily need to, you know, we don't need to do that, right? We don't need to get skills in that just yet. We can give that to someone else. Let's explore around a little bit, you know, see what's around here. Can we open any of these doors? Nope. All right, that's fine. All right, let's head down. Can we go down here? No. We can talk to this gentleman, to our neighbor. He looks very identical to our friend Xavier up there. I'm done with this fucking town, says Charlie, his eyes empty and lifeless. 2 years, and I've been here, and what do I have to show for it? Nothing. What are you gonna do, go back to the habitat? Guess so, nods Charlie. It doesn't seem so bad now. The habitat. Don't know what was I thinking. Take care, Charlie. Alright, so people are dissatisfied in this, you know, slum that we live in. Okay, some graffiti. Can't talk to these people. We go down here. I think that's our only pathway. Biorecycler, huh? No, go to the biorecycler. These biorecyclers break all organic matter from waste to dead bodies gathered each morning into a simple organic compounds and mineralized nutrients, which the ship turns into end tabs. It's a circle of life. Alright, so nitrogen tabs, I assume. Can I get down here? Can I get over here? Seems like I should be able to. Why can't I? Alright, I guess we'll go there later. It's a little hard to navigate, I will say that. Can't go this way? Alright, there's one way to go. I guess 2 ways to go. We can go over this way. We should probably be looking for... There's Whiskey Jack's. It's way over here. There's people up here, but let's go to Whiskey Jack's unless there's other people to talk to. Alright. This is Tanner. This is the man we work for. I've got a job for you, Tara, says Tanner, gesturing for a drink. Interested? What kind of job? An easy one. Tanner pulls a plastic rectangle from a compartment inside his sleeve and slides it towards you. The card is old and worn. The color is long faded, but the raised print on the front is still as clear as the day it was stamped. A2. That's Armory Level 2, the holy grail of every scavenger on the ship. During the mutiny, the rebels looted every deposit on the first level, but the automated defenses on the second stopped them dead. Literally, those same turrets have dissuaded every scavenger since. Is it real? Is it real? Repeats Tanner, miming a look of disbelief. Girl, if you don't have the stones for it, just say so. Don't insult me. Every scav worth its salt has been searching for this card for decades, but you're the one who found it? I have my ways, Tanner's smile reveals stained, uneven teeth. You see, I wasn't looking for a long-lost Axis card, since I'm not a fool. I was looking for technical officer Ulysses Colton. Tanner pauses so you can show your admiration for his savvy. Let me guess, he had the card, and you alone figured it out. Not quite, says Tanner. I alone figured out how to find a man who changed his identity and died in obscurity nearly 200 years ago. I have a feeling you're dying to tell me. Tanner pulls a battered energy pistol from his belt bag and passes it to you. This is his sidearm. He changed his name, but he couldn't change the serial number on his gun. Once I found the serial number, the rest was easy. His granddaughter sold the pistol 20 years ago. Let me inspect the pistol. It's an old, rust-covered energy pistol fastened with tape. Its plasma chamber hasn't seen any action in decades. Let's see. You don't have any energy cells you can spare, I suppose? Ha, laughs Tanner. The cells are worth their weight in platinum these days. No one's even selling them anymore, so the supply must have all but dried out. Are you sure the card still works? Only one way to find out, Tanner grins in an unnerving way. You go see for yourself. When you come back, we'll have a proper conversation. All right, so here's the big question. Why me? Tanner is silent for a moment as if deciding how to be honest. How honest he should be. I can't do it alone, and I don't trust anyone else. Keep the pistol. Consider it an investment into our enterprise. It's not going to be an easy trip, so take your time to get ready. You hear me? Let's see. I'd feel safer I had someone to watch my back. Yeah. Take Evans. I saw him at Abe's shop earlier today. The dumb bastard almost shot me. Sounds like the right man for the job. And then we can leave. All right. Looks like we can order a drink. But we need to find Evans. He's in a shop nearby. So this is the Promised Land. This is where Jonah lives. That's good to know. Where's Abe's shop? Is this the shop? Frank Boswell Gunsmith. This is an appraisal shop. I don't know what this is. Med Bay is up here. Oh wow, it goes up quite a ways, doesn't it? Honest Abe's General Store. Alright, I think this is the way. Why don't we head up there? Up we go. Alright, so this is Evans. Yep. Being a gunfighter is a quick and easy way to make a living in the pit. All it takes is a gun and some guts. It's also a quick and easy way to wind up dead, but the kind of men drawn to the gun always think they're going to live forever. Evans learned the realities of his new trade the hard way. The first time, Evans got lucky and killed his man as he fumbled his jaw. Riding high, Evans called out an old hand who put 3 bullets in his chest and left him for dead. Lucky for Evans, a stranger patched him up and he survived, but today he looks like a man whose luck has just about run out. Tara, nods Evans. What brings you to these parts? He asks, his bolt-action rifle still pointed your way. I have a job for you. A job? Evans pretends to think about it for a moment. Truth be told, I've got a job for you, too. All you gotta do is stick around and watch my back while I deal with these thugs. You do that for me, and I'll do whatever you need. No questions. Asked. Deal? Yeah, what thugs? Jonas has sent some gun thugs. Some gun thugs? Is that a term? Maybe. Jonas has sent some gun thugs to harass Abe. He nods at the storekeeper. Abe here went to the regulators, but Braxton said he can't spare any men. You and I both know the bastard doesn't want to get involved, so Abe hired me to watch the store. But the son of a bitch didn't say a word about Jonas until I agreed. I'm no coward, but I don't want to go against Jonas alone. He runs this town, for Christ's sakes. Wait and see what transpires. Why did Abe go against the regulators? What does Jonas want from Abe? Yeah, what does Jonas want from Abe? Money, what else? His thug said everyone who does business in the pit has to pay taxes or pack up and go. I told Abe he should pay, but he doesn't want to listen to reason. If he wants to die, that's his business, but now I'm going to go down with him. Why did Abe go to the regulators? Beats me. We all agreed to hire the regulators when the Brotherhood started eyeing the pit and getting ideas. Only reason they're still around, now that the Brotherhood's backed off, is to make sure they don't come back. At any rate, their job is to show that we have some muscle, even if it's a hired muscle, not sort out local trouble. Let's wait and see what transpires. Ooh, gun thugs. Thug. The gun thug shows up around noon. A man in his 40s who moves with a slow confidence and a brash young man eager to get himself killed. You got Jonas's money, demands the kid. Talking tough, the older man stays quiet, keeping his eyes on you and Evans. I have initiative +8, or rather this will give me initiative +8. This will probably start combat though. What money? You deaf? Asked the kid, spitting on the floor. Jonas's money. He owns the pit, so it's about time you fucking freeloaders start paying your fair share. Kill him? No, it doesn't have to go this way. And which way's that? Asked the older man softly. You can see he's been counting heads and running odds while the kid's been talking. You leaving the store in a body bag? Yeah, let's get threatening. Might not be me, says the older man, smiling. It's not a good smile. Are you willing to bet your life on it? On what might or might not happen? That's one hell of a gamble, friend. Ooh, there we go. You saying we leave empty-handed, scoffs the older man. You have a feeling he wants a way out. Apparently the kid gets the same impression. What are you talking about? Ask the kids. It's 2 against 2. Hell, I could kill both of them myself. So, streetwise 2. It's 3 against 2. Aid's a lousy shot, but even he can't miss at this range. Not with that hand cannon he's carrying. I don't have any streetwise. I do have 4 persuasion. Persuasion 2. And then what? Collecting tax is one thing. Killing folks over it is another. You cross that line, you'll end up dead sooner than you think. Yeah, let's do persuasion. Success. Have it your way, the older man says tiredly. We're going. The kid tries to protest, but for all his talk, the only thing he shoots is a black look. You gain experience. Look at that. We didn't need violence. We just needed to talk people down. Wait for them to leave. The door hisses shut behind the gun thugs, and Evans breathes a sigh of relief. Then gunfire erupts outside. Let's go take a look. What do we do now? Asked Evans, visibly shaken. We have to see it through, I suppose. Why does that matter? What happened? What transpired? Let's just close the doors and whatever. We have to see it through, I suppose. It's your call, said Evans. I reckon I'll stick with you until this thing blows over. Welcome aboard. We're friendly. Oh, a moment of our time. Let's talk to him. Abe looks a lot like Xavier and also my neighbor. Abe, I don't know how to thank you, Tara, says Abe, wiping sweat away from his forehead. These ruffians, they would have killed me dead. God knows I don't have much, but I'll give you all I can spare and then some. Turns out Abe could only spare 2 small boxes of ammo, 25 rounds each, but it's definitely better than nothing. What are you going to do now? Pray for less excitement in life. What else can I do? Didn't you move here from the habitat? Can't you go back? Back, laughs Abe. As bad as the pit is sometimes, the habitat is 10 times worse. The protectors are all about their mission, and every poor bastard that lives in the Enclave has to toe the line whether he likes it or not. They tax you up the wazoo and then expect you to contribute what little you've left to the war effort. The war effort? For the grand finale. You see, the protectors have been gearing up for a war ever since the mutiny. The Brotherhood's been doing the same, of course. If you ask me, neither side wants to fight, but they've been beating their chests for the last 100 years, so they have no choice but to go through with it. And the Church of the Elders, or the Elect, waiting on the sidelines to finish off the winner. It's a smart play. Alright, let's browse his wares. Damage energy pistol. It's worth 400 credits. Bolter rifle. I don't have a bolter rifle. Old welding helmet. Terrible evasion and everything else penalty. Work goggles. Accuracy increased but 4. And they're only 60, huh? Common respirator. Resistance to toxin. Electronic module. Rope. We don't need anything right now. Alright, let's see what's going on outside. Braxton. Rumor has it that Captain Braxton once served as a higher power, that in the days before his crisis of faith, he was known as a faithful gunner Jeremiah Braxton among the Church of the Elect. There's plenty of talk about why he left, but as is often the case, no story is more compelling than the others. Backed up by a few like-minded men and picking up more recruits along the way, Braxton left the church and wound up in the pit, where good fighting men are always in high demand. Around the same time, the Brotherhood had started nosing around, eager to establish a foothold here. Braxton and his regulators offered the good people of the pit their services. After much debate, they were hired to drive the Brotherhood's men out, which was accomplished with brutal efficiency. You see Braxton and 2 of his men standing next to the bodies of the gun thugs. I don't see the bodies of the gun thugs. Thank God you're alive, says Braxton, holstering his gun. When I saw them leaving the store, I assumed the worst. What happened here? What does it look like? They opened fire, we returned it. I have a high enough intelligence that they weren't eager to draw on me. You expect me to believe they started shooting at you and your boys not a minute later? Yeah, I paid them to start a fight at Abe's store, not to run away at the first chance they got. Braxton says nonchalantly. None of that changes the fact that the pit can use a makeover. The problem is, Jonas doesn't really run the town. He keeps Main Street nice and clean, but doesn't give a damn about the growing camp town around it. Or maybe he just doesn't know what to do about it. Either way, he'll lose control soon enough, and then what? Chaos? Gangs fighting for control? I got a quest added here. This man just murdered 2 people in cold blood. And he also paid them to start a fight at Abe's gun store? I can't say I like your methods, but you do have a point. What can I do? So you're the hero we deserve. I don't like this man. I don't like this authority. If it wasn't for me, the pit would be Brotherhood's boot camp right now. And if I'm gone, well... I can't say I like your methods, but you do have a point. I mean, honestly, I don't really want to join up with these guys, but I also don't like the idea of a whorehouse gang leader running the town either. So let's see where it goes. Can't say I like your methods, but you do have a point. Quite a lot, actually. If we move against Jonas, he'll claim the regulators are taking over and many would side with him. We don't want that. But you're one of them. If you challenge Jonas, people will side with you. Of course, we'll stand with you, but it will be your fight. Why me? Who else? Braxton asked loudly, making sure that everyone can hear you. You didn't look the other way when Jonas Thrugs threatened Abe. You saved him because it was the right thing to do. Now, I'm asking you to help us save the town. Let's see, I barely know Jonas and I don't know you at all. Yeah. It's not about me, and it's not about Jonas, Braxton says quickly. It's about the town. I think it's sinking into anarchy. What we're just witnessed here is but a taste of what's to come, unless you could put a stop to it. Yeah, sure, I'm in, I guess. We'll see where this goes. Then talk to Jonas. Put him on notice in front of everyone. Let them all hear what you have to say. Let's see. Why? Won't he know that we're coming? We aren't going to stab in the back, Braxton says firmly. A man deserves the right to defend himself. Okay, you gunned down 2 people who... This seems incongruent with your philosophy, but alright. Wait for them to leave. What are you going to do? Asks Evan. The right thing. We're going to save this town. It's not our fight, but I haven't decided yet. What's your take on it? What's the saying? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So there's that. But sometimes I wonder whether the devil's going to let it all go to hell. Jonas did build this town, but that's as far as he's going to take it. He did a good job keeping everyone at their best behavior at first, but when the pit was more of a camp. But the bigger the town got, the more lawless it became. And Braxton? His men do a good job patrolling the decks around the town, but I'm not sure I'd want to see him patrolling the pit and telling folks what to do. If Braxton ends up on top, who knows how far he'd take the law and order thing, although probably not as far as the Brotherhood would. So there's that. These are all good points. I don't think I've leveled up yet. Where is my... What's the character? That's party management. Character screen. It's highlighted. Tutorial. You can view your party stats here, tag skills for new party members, and add new feats on level up. You can dismiss a party member by clicking an X button near the portrait, but only when in towns. Alright. Did I level up? Or is it just because I have a new party member? And here we go. These are my beliefs. So, my beliefs are sort of heading towards atheism. I guess agnostic. My values, slightly above and oh no, I guess this is a loading bar. Yeah, I'm towards liberty here, away from authority. Towards philia for xenophilian. towards atheism and towards progress. So I'm not really far in any direction. I guess this is just general reputation. Diplomacy 1. I guess I can't level anything up yet. But okay, here's my EXP bar. Got some pretty good accuracy with a pistol. Good evasion. What are you at? You got accuracy with a lot of things. Let me see your inventory. So you have a assault rifle and a revolver. I have a bulldog revolver, a low-end revolver for budget-minded killer. The bulldog's range and accuracy are nothing to brag about, but at least it's made from real steel. What's your revolver? 8 to 12, and mine is 10 to 12. So mine is better. I'm going to give you a side weapon, though. Camp knife is better, but I'm going to be doing less fighting than him. You can have the helmet as well. You're a much more frontline fighter than me, buddy. I guess everyone wears a little wetsuit. That's very adorable. To be completely honest, you should probably have the jacket. 1, because it looks ridiculous on me. I mean, it looks ridiculous on anyone. It's kind of a suit jacket. That's fine. All right. All right, that's the first mission in this, and I think this is a good place to call it for now. I really like the look to this game, and the soundtrack's pretty nice as well. I don't know how well you can hear it. It's probably pretty good. All right, I'm going to continue this, I think. But this has been the end of part 1. I've been No More Worlds, and, thanks for joining me.